4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, good day, goodbye, hello, welcome along. A bit of a little sneaky one that I've put in here, but you are most welcome. Do join in the chat, they'll appear in the bottom right. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you're watching on catch up, you can do the same. There's no excuse not to. And if you're listening via your favourite podcast platform, whatever that may be, thank you for lending me your ears. Wouldn't normally cover a manager being sacked from another team, but I do almost feel, Wayne, and good evening, Wayne, sorry. I almost feel like he's one of ours.
Those were the rumours, weren't they? But I think we were in a desperate state of wanting a solution to our problems, and you know, Potter was the magic solution, but I don't ever think he was. And as you said, Chris, did he really want the job?
Well, I mean, I always used to say, didn't I, how often would you ask a girl out if she said no?
Exactly. Well, I mean, no more than 10 times.
I went higher than that, so I don't know. It doesn't say much about me, does it? But no, all joking apart, you wouldn't, would you? You'd get the message after a couple of times, you know. But
yeah, that's the same as if you approached a company a lot and you knew they got an opening for an agent or somebody to promote them, and you offered, and you know, if they just went silent, it's like if you're in a group of people, if it goes silent, you know it's time to change the subject, don't you?
Yes, yeah. I mean, in fairness, I did apply to work at one place 3 times, but on the 3rd time I did get it.
Get in, Chris.
Yes.
That's why we were open about Potter then, because it's all your fault, Chris.
It is. I told Top, I said, keep going, you'll get there. But yeah, it was... Because to be honest with you, for me, it got a little bit embarrassing.
Yeah, it was, and I think that shows the desperation that some fans were feeling. Look, in the group, they've got a spectrum of fans, like all things, and some are super reactive, get quite desperate, and others have seen the ups and downs of the club and understand that sometimes there are downs, and you're best to make good choices rather than panic at the first option that comes along.
I mean, do you think, because we all said, you know, is he waiting for a particular club? Now, obviously his first club in this country was Brighton, and he did well. He went to Chelsea, which I think I can understand him going, because like with Enzo, I don't think you turn those sort of jobs down because you don't know when they're going to come along again. But you know, it didn't work out for him at Chelsea, and I don't think that was all his problem, to be honest with you. I think Chelsea, the way they were run, and you'd got players getting changed in the corridors, a bit like the NHS, really, isn't it? I get it, but then he was waiting and waiting. And do you remember we all used to say, didn't we? Like, do we want him now? Football's moved on. He was out well over a year, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was, and interestingly, there's one do work out in Colville, and one of the regulars in the pub is a Brighton fan. I used to ask him every year, how you doing? Where do you think you are? And I said to him, I said, are you really worried with the fact that Potter's gone to Chelsea? And he says, no, we've got De Zerbi now. We've got a line of managers that the club, because the owner loves Brighton, is a football fan. And we've got a model where we've always got the next manager set up. And I thought, when he told me at the time, I thought, yeah, let's see how that works out. And it worked out brilliantly. Because he said Potter wasn't all that, to be honest. And he says, to be honest, I think this new manager will do better than Potter did. And I think he actually did.
Yeah. And I have to say, I do apologise. He was actually manager at Leeds Carnegie, which was a Northern Counties East League. He was there for. He was actually there for 3 years, and he was actually almost 2 years out of a job. And I think we were all looking at it, going, "Yeah, what does he know? Has he kept up on it?" It's like going back. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the advert for Paddy Power with Kirbishley. I don't know if I've asked you or not, but it's a fantastic. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, it's Alan Kirbishley, who we all know the Charlton fans wanted out when they were in the top flight, hated him, but he kept them mid-table for about 5 or 6 seasons. And they wanted him out. They think they should be doing better. They sacked him and went all the way down to the bottom tier, to the 4th tier. And it's got him sat there talking to his wife, whoever, saying, "It's got to be somebody that wants me. Somebody must need a manager out there." Looking at the phone, it's not ringing. Oh, come on. I mean, I've applied for all these jobs and I don't hear back. Then the phone rings and he picks it up and he goes, "Hello, yes. Yeah. Oh, Man United. No, sir, I've got a job. Thank you."
That is brilliant.
It's so Paddy Power. It's brilliant. It really is. But we say, like with the Sam Allardyces and all those, when you have been out a while, it does change. And I just wonder if that was his problem.
I think it might have been. I do think, like that guy said, he said, it's the way that Brighton's run. It's not particularly the manager. Because the Brighton, they're buying the players. They've got all their scouts. And also all the players you see coming through that they bought and developed, that's not down to the manager. They view the manager as an interim person.
Or the coach, you like.
The coach, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I played football this morning with a group of lads, and one of them was a Man United fan. And we were saying, what is happening with Man United? It's funny, all the clubs are chasing to get into Europe, to be a safe, established Premier side. But you've got 20 teams in the Premier trying to do it. They all think they're brilliant tacticians. They all think they've signed brilliant players. But when it comes to it, it's interesting how it all plays out. And it's like Potter, all the dream was, well, he's a potential England manager, so we'd be lucky to get him. But would we have been lucky to get him?
I look at that now, and even at the end of last season, because obviously he replaced Floppy Loppy, whatever his name was, who they absolutely really wanted to go. I mean, this is it with West Ham, and I guess it's this with Leicester as well. Any football club, they'd got fed up with Moyes. I mean, he'd gone back, I think, 3 times, or twice to West Ham. He'd got them to a bloody European Cup final. He won them at the European Cup final. Oh, but we're not playing football the West Ham way. He has to go. And even, when they were struggling with Potter, they said, no, he had to go at the time. They got Potter in, and we'll go through some stats in a minute. They didn't actually do any better. And I was thinking, like, well, we'll see now, how good he is. And they finished with 43 points, which was only 5 points above Tottenham.
Yeah, it's like, I think I don't know what it is, but it's like they want to buy a golden ticket of success. And I think that just to apply, assigning a manager, it's interesting. Moyes. So Moyes has gone to Everton because his criticism was that he was such a defensive-minded manager that we don't want that kind of football. That's our football club, because our football club is far better than that. But the thing that the David Moyes supporters levied against that is the fact that, well, He has to be like that because of the squad he's got available. And it's interesting now he's got KDH and Grealish, and he's got a really good side, and they do play some really good attacking football.
Oh, last season, at the end of the season, they finished 13th.
Yeah.
Okay, only as it happened, only one place above West Ham, 5 points clear. But they were dead and buried with, at one point. Wolves just managed to stay up. That might just have been putting off the inevitable looking at it this season. And all right, you could say nobody was going to go down with our 3 clubs, the Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton. We were that awful that nobody had to worry. But I think they could look at getting rid of Moyes, and that's, I think, when all the trouble started.
Yeah, and it's like fans who go, some of the vitriolic stuff online was like, Top is disgusting, he'd rather play polo, he doesn't give a shit about the club, but etc. etc. But it's okay wishing that you want a magic pill to make your club a fantastic attack, playing beautiful football, getting into Europe. But there's 20 other teams in that league who are very capable, very motivated, very professional, who want to do the same thing. So you've got to be realistic with the club that you are.
Yeah.
And Moyes has proved himself since he's gone to Everton.
Yeah.
He's proved himself. He proved himself at West Ham. I mean,
yes.
You imagine getting treated like that, having won a European trophy. But what was that first trophy in how many years for West Ham?
I know. And a European one as well.
Yeah.
I just think, look, all fans are the same. Look what Claudio did for us. He won us that bloody thing. And, we wanted him out the next season. But Lopetegui came in to replace him in May 24. He was on a 2-year contract with the option for a third. He'd obviously been Wolves manager before. He was dismissed May 7 months later in January after a disappointing start. In came Graham Potter. And I think when you look at Graham Potter coming in for that job, I understand it in a way because he was managing Brighton. He then went to Chelsea. So I'm guessing he probably lived around Brighton, which is a very nice part of the world. He wouldn't have to actually move to manage Chelsea because a lot of people live in Brighton and work in London. Sometimes there's a train service, but it's Southern Rail, so you're never 100% sure. And I think he felt the same with West Ham. It was a London club. He was there. He could still travel. But let's have a look shall we have a look at our story and our time trying to get Graham Potter in?
Interesting.
It will be. This, actually, I've got to say, the question I asked was, would Graham Potter have kept Leicester City up? So Leicester City approached Graham Potter 3 times to become their manager. That was based on reports from the likes of The Guardian, Leicestershire Live and Football Insider. This is my little Chinese friend, AI again, by the way. She's been really good. She was getting so much up for me today, literally. So 3 times we approached him. The first one was April 23. Leicester City, then in the Premier League, approached Potter shortly after his sacking from Chelsea on April the 2nd, 2023. Potter declines with the club in a relegation battle and financial uncertainties. But you see, I don't get a manager turning it. He must have been on a fucking fortune at Chelsea to turn down a job and carry on. I mean, if we'd got relegated, I don't think Top would have sacked him.
No.
Because that was the year, wasn't it, when the last year of Brendan?
Yeah.
I don't think he'd have sacked Potter if he'd taken us down.
No, probably not. But it's interesting, like Prashant asked, do you think Brighton was already a well put together club before Potter joined? That's exactly what I said earlier, Prashant, that I know somebody I speak to regularly is a Brighton fan, and he said that Potter rode on the fact that Brighton was such a well-run club, but he's just won in a series of managers. And I mean, look at what Brighton doing this year. After De Zerbi left, I mean, hurt us a lot. They've started brilliantly this season, haven't they? Yeah. Again, so I do think Potter flattered to deceive because he just the timing right. He hit a club that was so well run.
Yeah,
so
but we know
he got all the players there that the club had put in place for him to get great results.
Yeah, I think you judge a manager when that manager takes over a club that's struggling. And you see him go on. When you're going into a club that's well run, or any job, you know, when you go into a club or a job that's doing well, you're on a hiding to nothing in a way. You know, my first manager's job, I worked for WH Smith at the time, was I took over Blackpool, the travel agency bit. Now that was the worst performing job anywhere in the worst performing travel department of any WH Smith in the country. We had about 300 at the time. I was offered Solihull in Birmingham, and I took Blackpool. Obviously, a couple of reasons. One of them was the fact that it's Blackpool. I'm never going to be bored, am I? You know,
No.
Met my future wife there. If only I'd known, I'd have gone for Solihull. Hi, Cass. The other thing was that it was the worst performing branch, and I thought, if I turn this round, my stock's going to be really, really high. If I take over Solihull that's doing well, and that doesn't really do well under me, they're going to be looking and thinking, well, what have we got? You know, so I can, you know. But I think as well with this, I think Potter was also thinking we were beneath him.
Yeah, was this at the time where he was linked with the England job as well, maybe?
Oh, he was always being linked.
Yeah. But yeah, with that sort of thing, it's quite interesting, really. So a lot of the fans of Leicester saying, oh, you know, who would want to come and manage our club? But when you look at the ground, the training facility, and as you said, I mean, what managers want is a vehicle that can demonstrate their abilities.
Yes.
So it's like Marta. What a perfect fit for Marta this job is. Now, Potter could have thought, well, you know, Chelsea didn't go to okay. Been at Brighton. Chelsea didn't go too well. He did okay at Swansea. He played some good football, but he could have thought, it's a great opportunity for me to really re-establish my name. It's like Lampard, isn't it? Coventry. He's tried the bigger things, the jobs that his name got him, but now he's actually in the job that he probably should have gone to that level, and now he's really making his mark, and he's really got a really well-drilled Coventry side, and that's his level that he probably needed to start it all along. So it's a shame that Potter didn't think that. But Leicester is a great opportunity, and we're so glad that Marty is now at the helm.
Yes, indeed, and you know, I could say, following on from both our comments, did he take over Brighton when they were in the second tier, or just looking here, he took over Brighton in 2025. Oh, no, that's West Ham, sorry. Let me just have a look at Brighton and see, because again, look, I can understand why some people do. We've got managers here. Managers list, there we go.
Yeah, so Brighton was 2019 to 2022.
Right. So I think they probably were not in the. I think he may well have taken them up, to be honest with you. Who knows? But I just think, like, you have to go for the Chelsea job. I get it, but he overstretched himself, and he should have looked at that and gone, why hasn't it worked at Chelsea? Now, he probably thought, in fairness, West Ham were pretty Brighton sort of a side, if you like, you know, clubs, although Brighton had got West Ham had got a bit of history, but that was years ago. So he's probably looking at it as pretty much a safe job. And I could say whether it was the travelling or whether it was, like you say, the financial uncertainties. But I don't know. You know, we always say, don't we? Why do people go and manage Watford? And why do people go and manage Chelsea? Because you get a fucking big payoff when they sack you. So it is a win-win situation. You know, all right. Your reputation might be destroyed a little bit, but you know, your wage packet isn't, is it?
I think that's why, you know, when you look at managers, the way they greet each other after a match, they're quite appreciative of each other. It's not like, I know that the rivalries and in the heat of a match it can get a bit feisty, but I mean, they're all of a certain brand. They all understand that they are in a temporary position.
Yeah.
And you know, that is management. You know, that the fans are permanent, the manager's temporary, as the players are slightly less temporary. And that is the deal. As a manager, I've got to be honest with you, Chris. Like, if you misperformed in your job and you got said, look, you know, we need to let you go, you might get a 3-month severance package, maybe. If you if they sort of said, look, we want to do the right thing for you, but we've got somebody in place, and would you mind if we give it? But you wouldn't get like paid out to your contract for 2 years or more, would you?
No, I mean, I think with the football as manager, I think you actually get paid until get another job, and that was probably why he was hanging on to his Chelsea wage packet. But as they, you know, Nigel Pearson, he's good as said on Sam Allardyce's pod, you know, why did you go to Watford? He said, well, it was a win-win. I know managers, it's a quick turnaround there, but I'll get my money if they sack me. And actually, just check, Brighton were in the top division when Potter took over, because Potter was at Swansea, and they got promoted in 2017, and they had Chris Hughton as the manager.
Right.
Hey, look, what's happened to him? You know, and sometimes these managers, and they do have to sort of realise that unless you're Jose Mourinho, you're not God's gift to managers. You know, and you know, Phil Parkinson got Hull into the Premier League. Look where he went. He went all the way down, and he's now obviously at Wrexham. See you on Tuesday, Phil. But we'll see you next Tuesday, I should say. But that was the first approach. Then in June, did I say that was April 2023. Not satisfied with him turning us down, only 2 or 3 months later, after we were relegated and Dean Smith left, Leicester made a second approach to Potter. He declines again, reportedly uninterested in managing in the Championship. Okay, on that one, we got it right because we appointed Enzo Maresca. Again, you know, you look at him and you go, well, when you were at Swansea, you were in the Championship. That's what made your name. That's why Brighton went in for you for a Premier League team. There's only, there's 20 teams in the Premier League. Over half of, 3/4 of those don't have English managers.
Yeah, it is a rarity, isn't it? Because who's the manager of a club that's doing well? Is it? There's an Irish manager, isn't there, in the Premier League? I remember thinking he's the English, but it is a rarity. Potter was manager of Brighton in the Premier League. Well, it's one of those really. I think it's like Rude. You know, we were so excited about Rude, and the theory of Rude was spot on. You know, his playing career was like world class. His ability to score goals was world class. He was taking over a world class striker in Vardy, but he just didn't. He played the youth. He developed the youth at PSV, and it just didn't work out, did it?
No,
you know, it did not work.
I think. Well, we'll come on to Rude in a second on that one, but yeah, should we look at the third time we approached him? A year later, after Enzo Maresca leaves, so we're back in the Premier League, as it says there. Maresca leaves for Chelsea. Leicester get promoted back to the Premier League. Leicester approach Potter for a third time. Potter turns it down, citing timing and other considerations. I mean, come on. I mean, and we go on and appoint Steve Cooper. And
and were we a bit desperate at that point when we appointed Steve Cooper, because he was the only one that kind of said yes, wasn't there? By the late.
Yeah, this is the thing, because at that point we all thought we were going to get this, points deduction, which would almost certainly probably send us back down, because we know that clubs coming up struggle without a points deduction. And I mean, look, Richard's just said there, very good point. Potter is a snowflake manager. He only has had a bit of past success at Brighton. He then went to Chelsea. A lot of the time he struggled at Brighton, not that much better than Houghton, the previous manager. I mean, he probably had the one good season at Brighton, which got him the Chelsea move. But, if we just go back here, right, so in June 2023, he didn't want to manage in the Championship. 12 months later, oh, look, we're in the Premier League. No, I still don't want to come to Leicester. Now, I am presuming, therefore, that it was, the money, and that, Chelsea were probably paying him more than we were offering him. Now, I think this is where he backfired, because that's kept him out of the, he was out of the job almost 2 years, and things do move on, but because now the interesting thing is here, Wayne, not a lot of people know this, but in November 2024, Leicester show interest in Potter again after sacking Steve Cooper. However, this does not progress to a formal approach, as the club quickly pivots to other candidates like Ruud van Nistelrooy. Now, do you remember?
I didn't realise that.
I didn't. Now, this isn't a confirmed, and I do remember there was one match. It might have been the last match before Ruud took over, or the first one after. It was at the Walkers, you're my age. It was at the King Power, and Potter was actually at the side of the pitch, with the Sky cameras. And he actually said to them, because they were talking to him, obviously, about always being linked to Leicester and what have you, and they said, oh, you've been approached this time as well. And he did actually say, in fairness to him, don't believe everything that you read.
Right.
Which is why they've put, this does not progress to a formal approach, and we don't know if it's going to actually sort of happen. So whether we did or not that time, I don't know. And I have to say, in fairness to him, all right, look, he's turned us down. He has every right to do that. He's never actually bad-mouthed us, has he?
No, he's not. When he says, he didn't want to manage in the Championship, and then, well, no, it's not you. So what it sounds like he was saying is, it's not you, it's me. Yeah. Sorry, on that night, I'd love to go out for a romantic meal, but I'm washing my hair. I'd love to go out to the cinema, but
I'd love to wash my hair. Can I just say that?
Yes, it's just that I can't. The car's in for service, There
was always an excuse, wasn't there? You turned us down because we're in the Championship. Well, hey, we're back in the Premier League now. No, it's not the right time. I honestly think it was down to the money. I really do. Now, Graham Potter's record. Now, this is obviously last season and this season as well. Graham Potter's record as West Ham United manager is 6 wins, 5 draws and 12 losses in 23 Premier League matches from January the 9th, 2005 to his sacking on the 27th to the 27th, September the 27th this year. That is 23 points from a possible 69. Which is a win percentage there that you can see of 33.3%. I think I've got that right. Or if it's wrong, it's AI's fault. Richard says there, keep your options open for the future. That's why he's saying nothing. Well, it's a bit late, although somebody posted on, I think it was X. And it was there, actually, I tell you it was Steve, Elm, who comes on here and does the review show with him. And he posted, he went, store this tweet, he said, or whatever, to X, he says, Potter will be managing Leicester in 2 years.
Well, that didn't happen, did it?
Well, no, he did that now after he'd been sacked from West Ham.
Right, all right. No,
So
I can't see that. I can't see that, Chris. I think there's too many there's too many good young managers. You look at all the really good managers in the Premier League and around the world that play the younger teams. I mean, look at Sunderland. You know, they had the youngest promoted squad from the Championship. They've stuck to that routine, that blueprint of only signing under 25s. I mean, look at the start they made to the Premier League. So I think young managers are, the older managers are more stuck in the ways, are becoming obsolete.
Yes. Yeah. Things move on, styles move on. You know, I was in advertising for nearly 20 odd years, and how we used to sell at the end was completely different to how we used to sell at the start. You know, at the start it was all these, why do you want it? Where do you want to go? And all, now it's like, how much do you want to pay, basically? But interesting thing is, now I'm going to ask you this, because do you think, had he joined us when we sacked Steve Cooper, do you think he would have kept us in the Premier League?
Well, interestingly, I've got my Wayne's calculator out.
Oh, no. If you've worked it out, then don't tell me, because you'll spoil it. So, don't. Because we were quite a few points behind Spurs, weren't we? Let's be honest. You know, I mean, we finished on we finished on 25. They got 13. There was a big gap to fill. And look, his record at West Ham was. I mean, do you remember last season when we were in the Premier League? West Ham played an early kickoff, and all the fans left at half time.
Yeah, definitely. And to be honest, I think if Fatawu hadn't got injured, would we have had 5 or 6 more points and then put pressure on Man United and Tottenham? I think we would have done. So we were quite unfortunate, because unfortunately we had the size of squad, the strength of squad, and the quality that you can't afford to lose someone like Fatawu. I do think they weren't that far for the size of their squad and the size of their club. The fact that we had a significant injury, and if it hadn't been for that, would have been within 3 or 4, 5 points of them. That kind of shows how dire they were, really.
It does. But the way that it ended up, and you should have a squad that is fit, or good enough to cover injuries. You can't say, well, if Fatawu doesn't play, we lose, sort of thing. I know where you're coming from, though. But of course, we have got the amazing Bobby DeCover-Reid now. We
have, and Marty does like him.
He does. So do we all after Saturday morning, don't we? Even if it was off somebody's leg and what have you.
Yeah.
Right. So I wanted to see, did we? And I'm asking myself here, because I did a very quick one when he actually got sacked, and I said then, have we dodged a bullet in not getting? And he said Harry Potter. Then Harry Potter's on telly, by the way. Graham Potter. So let's have a look. This is Graham Potter against Ruud van Nistelrooy in the Premier League, and this is only last season. He managed 18 games in the Premier League. 5 wins, 5 draws, 8 losses, 20 points he got. And that was 1.11 point per game. God, it hurts me to do this. Ruud van Nistelrooy at Leicester City, apart from writing books, he managed 25 games just in the Premier League. We're not talking cups or anything like that. He got 4 wins, 3 draws, 18 losses, completely embarrassed us, hardly scored a goal, but he got us 15 points. Now, that is a points per game of 0.6. Here's where it gets interesting, young Wayne. So if Potter had managed us for Ruud's 25 games, achieving 1.11 point per game, that would have given us 28 points, rounded up from 27.75, under him. Add this to Steve Cooper's 9 points, it would have given us 37 points. Tottenham, who finished in 17th place, achieved 38 points, so we would still have been relegated, albeit by 1 point. Or would we? I mean, when you're talking about points like that, who knows? Maybe, I don't know whether Top did offer him the bank. I was very surprised when I worked all that out.
That is really intriguing, actually. And to be honest, I do think that they had the luxury of knowing that the 3 sides below them were absolutely woeful. I mean, none of the promoted sides got a victory until November, was it? I think the first victory. I mean, when you look at Leeds and Sunderland, I mean, they've just smashed it, really. We're setting ourselves up to survive in stay in the Premier League. But that's interesting. Well, because some fans say Steve Cooper, he definitely would have took us down, but I don't think you can honestly say that. You know, you can say you might think we would have gone down, but you can't say he definitely would. We definitely would have gone down if we stayed with Steve Cooper, because that's impossible to say. So, I mean, it's interesting, Rude, isn't it? Completely made Vardy dry up, where Steve Cooper had him scoring goals. And even somebody said it, was it Tom or Jim said, do you think if we'd have had Vardy this season, I think it was Tom, that if we'd have managed to keep Vardy, who apparently only wanted 25 grand a week, do you think we would have be second or first? You know,
I don't think he would have stayed because of Rudkin. He'd fallen out with Rudkin. And I think that was the contentious problem. Prashant says, no, I don't think he would have done a better job than Rude. Sorry, Prashant, I'm going to disagree with you there. Peppa Pig could have done a better job than Ruud van Nistelrooy. You know, we could have got any of the Teletubbies that you like in to manage the team. They'd have done better than Ruud van Nistelrooy. But when it does come down to 1 point, I think we may just have stayed up with Potter. I don't know if we would have done with Cooper. We'll never know that. And of course, this is all speculation. We don't know this for sure, do we?
No, I've got to be honest with you, I don't think we would, because I don't think Potter is a really good man manager in difficult situations. And even Enzo was tested, really. That was interesting. So Enzo, when we hit that real big blip, from what I recollect from it, it wasn't Enzo that turned that around. It was Vardy arranging a meeting with all the players to say, look, give your heads a bloody good wobble. If you think you're good enough to go up promotion, I'm telling you not. You've got to, we've got to get going again. So I don't think Potter has got it. Ruud definitely had not got it. He lost his bottle. He lost the dressing room. Whereas Marte, how impressive is he getting far more out of the players than anybody's got before?
Yes, yeah. I mean, as I've said, only one pre-season game, although he was at the one where we played for 45 minutes, but he wasn't at the side of the pitch. I'm sure he was given instructions, but technically one pre-season game. He's had, this has bbeen like his pre-season, and I can't keep saying that. And I think we're probably coming to the end of that point where we, Prashant's laughing at me Teletubbies. Stop laughing at me Tinky Winky, Prashant. Sorry, I thought I'd covered it up. It's... Oh, what was I saying? My Tinky Winky's put me off now. What was I saying, Wayne?
About Marty.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That was it. I think Marty's done a fantastic job with a team or a squad that, apart from 4 players, was the squad that Ruud had, less some of the decent players.
Yeah, and as well, Ramsey came in and we were like, he's injury prone. What if he's not in? What if he does get injured? Yeah. But what a quality player. And then all of a sudden he gets sent off, so he deals with a game where he's sent off, and he's on a 3-match ban. And against this, when we played at the weekend on Friday night, against West Brom, I think with Ramsey in the team, we probably would have won that game. With Ramsey on the pitch, we probably have won that game as well. So that is a major blow to Marty.
Yes.
And he's still dealing with it. We're still getting the result against a difficult side. So it's not where I want us to be, but Marty is definitely, considering all the cards he's got to play with, he's really delivering some great hands.
Indeed. And let me just, because I've got a question I want to ask you about Marty in a second. But as bad as it's been for Potter at West Ham, I don't think we would have been as bad as we were under Rood. According to this, the bit of fun stats that I've done there, we'd have still gone down by a point. But when it's a point, it could go either way. But I don't think, look at what we did under Rood. All those games without scoring, all those games without winning. We were breaking records for all the wrong reasons. I don't think it would have got that bad under Potter.
I think it would work out about the same as Rood.
Really?
I think we needed. I think the difference with Marty is the fact that he's a real people person. He genuinely is an intellectual, clever guy. But not only that, he's really good at identifying people's strengths and weaknesses and putting the best team out on the pitch with what he's got available. And Rood definitely didn't do that. I don't think Potter did, because some of the Potter selections at West Ham, because I do fancy football league.
Yeah.
Bowen was in my team, and then when I saw some of his team selections, I was like, I don't get why he's choosing those players. Yeah.
No. Let me just throw one Enzo question. We have that many managers, I can't keep up with it. One Marty thing at you. We're going to be doing our review tomorrow at 6 o'clock. It's going on the bottom there. Join us, me, Brad, and Steve, that will be doing the review show. And I've seen a lot of the Leicester channels and a lot of, obviously, posts on social media going, well, we threw that one away. That was 2 points lost. And now I'm looking at this and going, hang on, guys. Remember where we were last season. And look at us now. 7 games, 5th. We've only lost 1. There's only 2 clubs that haven't lost a game yet, and that's Middlesbrough and Coventry, who happen to be 1st and 2nd. And we got a point off Coventry. A team that was it them that put 12 goals away in 2 games?
Yeah.
And we're sat in 5th. We've got a +3 goal difference. We've got 12 points because they only lost the 1, won 3 of those games. Why is there to complain about?
Yeah, Coventry and Middlesbrough are the only teams with unbeaten records, aren't they?
Yeah.
So
Actually, well done to Palace as well. Palace are the only team in the Premier League with an unbeaten record. Well done to them.
Glasgow, when you think, I was talking with my brother, we were having a pint after football, and I said, at one stage, I'm sure Palace were below us in the Premier League at one stage. He's
and they stuck with it.
Yeah. It just shows you, if you've got quality, then you do. It's like anything. If you've got quality, they might go through a difficult time, but you stick with quality because you believe that they have quality and they will come through. And obviously, Palace, I love the Palace chairman. He loves that club to bits. And even when they were covering about Palace, with the unfairness with the European Cup, with the twin sister club, and how Forest dodged it and Chelsea dodged it and all those sort of things. And I felt really gutted. But they won the FA Cup, Charity Shield, the second in the league. They beat Liverpool.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they just stuck with their manager. But just going back to Marty, I can't be yes, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that we didn't win these games. But apart from the Preston game, and look, you're playing a team that's been together for a long time there, and it showed. I think they really outplayed us. Apart from that game, that's the only game we've lost. Like you said, one game we were down to 10 men. We've played one of the 18 goals they've scored, Coventry, more than any other team in the league, and they didn't score 1 past us.
Yeah.
Birmingham, who were getting all the news and they were coming up, they didn't beat us. I don't know how you can complain about Leicester at this stage, because I thought we were going to be a hell of a lot worse off.
Yeah, I think some of it. I mean, the last two games I have been disappointed, and I think like Tom and Jim and you have been more optimistic than me. I think what it is, like when I was chatting with Tom and Jim, I think it was more frustration. I think because of if you can create better quality chances up front, then I think we're so in the games that we could have won. We could have had 4 more points, for instance, at least before, which then takes you up to second place. And I do think there are a lot of quite average teams in the Championship this year. I mean,
Carry on, sorry.
Yeah, I do think there are. I mean, when you look at like Stoke, Bristol City, a fourth, and they've lost 1 and drawn 3 and won 2. We've drawn 3, won 2 and lost 1. I think that it is a lower bar this year, which that's why I think we will hit the playoffs at least.
Do you think it's a lower bar? Do you really?
I do think it's a poorer. I think when you look at Leeds and Burnley last year, I do think it's. I don't think we'll have 3 teams hitting the points tally that the 3 teams did last season.
Or the season that where we were.
I did remember. I can't see it, Chris, because too many teams are dropping points.
They are, and that maybe shows how tight it is because no team is walking away with it. You could say that as it looks at the moment that this is a tougher league than when we won it last time because we were way out in front last time. So I would have thought that would have made it a tougher league. And I was having to dig at you because I do know it was you that was saying you weren't happy with some of the results. But remembering where we were last season, we still got most of those players. We've only brought 4 players in. One of those is a goalkeeper, or 2 of those. Sorry, we brought 5 players in, 2 keepers. But Carranza's got to get used to the league and what have you. Again, they've not. It's not like they've been like a Preston that have had them pretty much the same players for a while. So I think it honestly is the fact that people are taking points off everybody else. And I will say, look at me in the prediction league. I'm absolutely awful, and because they're not. The top teams aren't beating the bottom teams. That does make the whole thing, I think, tighter.
Look at the league. I don't think there'll be any teams adrift as well this year. Like sometimes you get teams getting thumped at the bottom. Like Oxford, we played Oxford, really good side. Chef Wednesday, they've got a lot of fight in them and some quality. I think with me, it wasn't like at first I thought it was disappointing. I think it was frustration because thinking we're there. We just need a bit of quality in the final third. So I think it's like, if we could just that, which is a healthy place to be, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Prashant agrees with me. I do like that man. I mean, Sheffield United were getting walloped. They're already on -11, but obviously they've changed managers now. Above that, Sheffield Wednesday are fighting like mad. Oxford, Derby, Blackburn, Southampton. They're down in 19th. Ipswich aren't doing very well. They're in 12th, but in fairness to them, they have played a game less because of the abandoned match.
Yeah.
So I think it is tougher, I think, and I'm going to stick with that. And I am happy with how things are going. I think when you look at where we were, that's not going to change by just putting a manager, however good that manager is. Even if we put Alex Ferguson in it when he was at his best, or we put I don't know, Jose Mourinho, Pep Guardiola, with 1 pre-season game and then 8 games, 7 in the league, 1 in the cup, you're not going to be smashing it, not with that team. So I'm very happy with where it is. So would Potter have kept us up? Probably not, but I think it would have been a lot closer, And Prashant, just looking at your idea, I think that's just like the prediction show that we do, to be honest with you, mate. The you'd have to explain it to me more in full. Now, talking of dodging a bullet, that is the question. So it's a straight yes or no answer, Wayne. I don't want your Keir Starmer answer.
No.
Want...
Chris, that's a bit of a low insult. That's too low.
It was an easy insult, wasn't it? It was an easy insult. But or to be fair, or a Kemi Badenoch, or a Sir Ed Davey. Let's be fair to them all. But yes or no, did we dodge a bullet in not getting Graham Potter in as manager?
Absolutely 100%.
Yeah. You still can't give that one word answer, can you? But yeah, I love it. No, I agree with you. Probably not to the 100% degree, but I think we have dodged the bullet because of who we've gone on to now get. At the time, mate. But look, it was like I say, 1 point, and that's no science at all. That's just AI.
With managers like with players, I think, well, how hungry are you to make this work? I think Potter is a bit blasé about stuff, whereas like Marte, he is hungry because he, like you said, he paid off his contract, didn't he, to come here?
Yes.
That's how much he wanted it.
Yes. I'm going to ask AI sort of, would Graham Potter wait a minute, AI. All right. Yes, I'll feed you afterwards. Okay. Leicester.
You're typing in Wood Graham Potter and it's coming up with a suggestion, come around and do your plumbing.
Yeah. Yes. Premier League in 2024. I don't know why I trust, because I use AI for my predictions, and I'm mad, really, if you look where I am. Sorry?
You just admitting, is that almost cheating, Chris?
No, I don't take the scores.
Oh, right.
I take their advice, and if you look when I do if you come in or watch the prediction show, you'll see there are percentages up there. AI supplies that information that I put up on the screen. So it's just that it's after the deadline, I can't even use it anyway. Right, let's see what it says here. I'm just doing if there's oh god, it's like one of your answers. Therefore, Graham Potter did not manage Leicester City in the 24-25 season, so it's impossible to say for certain if he would have kept them in the Premier League. What's the fucking point of AI when it gives you answers like that?
That's AI giving a politician's answer, Chris.
It is. Bloody Keir Starmer, he gets everywhere. I want to quickly leave. Do stay with us, as I say, at 8. It says their next show Monday at 6. I'm telling a lie. The next show is 8:30 tonight, when Brad's going to be talking to Andy, who is a Wrexham fan. And obviously, Wrexham, everybody's been approaching them to sort of speak to them, so they're really busy. But whilst we're talking about Graham Potter dodging a bullet, and you think it's 100% yes, I think if you could go higher, you would for these two.
Yeah, I mean, Russell Martin,
No, don't tell me you would have loved Russell. I'm sorry. If you say that you would have thought Russell Martin could have come and done a good job, I'm sacking you, Wayne.
No, I didn't. I absolutely did not want him. At the time, I thought, no, please. It's like people saying, Leicester have a habit of signing Southampton players that have been thumped on a regular basis. It's like, no. And I did want Danny Roll, to be honest, but interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. So is it Glasgow Rangers? The fans absolutely hate him. Down the road, you've got Celtic hate the board, but they don't particularly hate Brendan because he's winning everything at the moment. But the fans, you don't know what you're doing, Ban. It was worse than what was there when Rude was manager for us. They absolutely don't like him. You've got to say,
7 points off Celtic, Chris. I mean,
Yeah,
Another
that's
couple
the
of
big
times,
thing.
that could be 12 points.
Yeah, I mean 9 points off top spot, which I think is Hearts at the moment, and they have only played 6 league games, and they have only lost 1. But this is Rangers, and he might. I've got to say, in fairness to Russell Martin, he might suddenly turn everything round and he's saying, "Give me time. I'm not going to do it overnight, and it might turn out to be brilliant." But no, I'm so glad we didn't get him. And the problem is that Rangers fans aren't going to be patient when you're 7 points behind Celtic as it stands at the moment, because they're 9 points off Hearts. And Danny Roll, who, let's be honest with you, most of us probably would have been happy with, although I would have still liked Eden. I can't remember his name. Tezark, was it? Tarzik that I wanted.
Terzic.
Yeah. But Danny Roll, he's now still unemployed. Now, if he was such a good manager, why hasn't he been snapped up?
Well, exactly. And the trouble is, when you get like the players' rumours, the rumours online and the frenzy to sign somebody, please just sign somebody. And they say laughter's infectious, so is panic.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I know that feeling. Interestingly, if you do follow Daniel Roll on Instagram, he's actually, I think his last post was about football was 4 weeks ago, and he was in America.
Right.
Now, not on holiday, he was at a football match. So maybe he's taking this time. Like, do you remember? Who's the manager at Newcastle?
Eddie
Oh
Howe.
my God, was it Bournemouth?
Eddie Howe.
Eddie Howe, that's the one. I should remember that. When he left Bournemouth, which was they didn't want him to leave. He, said, "I've taken you down again for the second time. Don't know if I can bring you back up. I want to take some time off." He went round Europe and probably America as well, looking and learning and using that time. Danny Roll's doing that, by the look of it. Fair play to him, because you're learning other things. Don't remember ever seeing Graham Potter doing that, though.
No, I do think that, as a human, you've got to be careful to say, don't believe the hype, innit? I think you've got to be careful, because human nature is we all love praise and different things. I think Graham Potter, he did believe the hype. And I think that's it's like in the Championship with some of the lower teams like Oxford, and, don't do people a disservice and disrespect them, even though they are a lower, in a division below you or lower in the league. A lot of these players are super professional. I think maybe just his ego got to him, maybe, or something. I don't know, but it seems crazy, really. I mean, I would say as football management, give a job. Give a job, please.
Definitely. Wayne, thank you very much for coming on. Will you be joining us on Tuesday for the watch along?
I probably will do, mate. Yes, I'll be over in Norfolk. I should be watching it over in Norfolk way. So.
In Norfolk. Yeah, didn't know you were a secret Norwich fan.
Well, there you go, mate. Delia Smith. I've got one or two of the books from in the past. You know what I mean?
Right. Like I say, Monday at 6 o'clock it's the review, but tonight at 8:30, as you can see there, Brad with Andy, a Wrexham fan, will be looking ahead to the game, and they are very good shows. Wayne, I will see you on Tuesday. Thank you very much indeed. Take care, and thanks for coming on. Like, subscribe, share, and as I say, if you have been listening rather than watching, thank you very much for doing that. Those figures on the podcast are unbelievable. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you later. All the best, Wayne.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.